Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Oh my God, we are here with you tonight. We just witnessed the Battle of Winterfell. Oh, I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of feelings. I have a lot of emotions. I went online for a second after the show because we wanted to get live as quickly as possible because we were on a delay. And a lot of the purists are not happy. They aren't happy that we just saw the end of the Night King. The threat beyond the wall is over. And now we are here. I need to bring in a man who was missing. Oh, what's that noise? Oh, God. Ruining my intro, whoever's over there with the guitars on the wall. Let me bring in my buddy, James L. Mattern, all the way from California, right? L.A.? You're in L.A.?
Yo, man, I'm the king of North Hollywood, dog. What y'all know about that, man?
Oh, my God. James L. Mattern, how are you, buddy?
Buddy, I'm okay. We're making it happen.
We're making it happen. Are you sick?
No, man, I just yell a lot out here.
It's so loud. You're so much louder than in person.
Which is a big deal because I'm pretty loud.
Well, I've missed you so much, and I said there's no way I could do this episode without James L. Mattern. But we did have an insurance policy. Yep. Our buddy, Chris from Brooklyn, is here from High Society Radio. Hi.
What's up?
What's going on?
Thanks for having me. That was very epic. I usually watch that show alone.
Oh, in like a dark room?
Yeah, my living room is pretty dark, but I usually watch it, but it was interesting watching it with the whole staff here because that was probably the best hour and a half of TV I've seen maybe ever.
It was insane. There's a lot to unpack, obviously. James, I want to get first impressions from you. My friend, we didn't get to talk to you last week. I was underwhelmed, to say the least, but we're not going to dwell on that. I'm sure you loved it. What did you think?
It was a really great episode. Yeah, it was an outstanding episode, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I get it, people being upset with it last week, but you're going to rewatch the whole series at some point, and that episode's gonna stand out because it was your farewell to a bunch of these characters. It was their shining moment because them shitting their pants, getting killed by the dead is not a shining moment. So that was I thought it was great. I mean, you just can't fight for 6 episodes in a row. Everyone just expects because there's 6 episodes. Just every episode, people getting swords in the ears, up the ass, just getting dead all the time. Fucking around. You can't.
I think the 2 hours of tune-up, for the last 2 weeks kind of made this feel more important too.
Well, let's be real here for a second. We had 4 major deaths. I say major loosely. We had 4 deaths on tonight's episode. We had Dolores Ed. We had Lyanna Mormont going out like Tip it for her. That girl, my God, what a death. What a way to go out, taking out 1-1 as she went. We had Beric Dondarrion, which we'll get into this more, but Beric Dondarrion, my lord, revealed this episode that really the Lord of Light has brought him back time and time again to be in this moment to save Arya Stark so Arya Stark can kill the Night King. Now, I think there are a lot of mixed feelings about that, and I'm going to try to be fair because I was very excited as someone who's constantly bitching about this show and bitched about it for the last 2 weeks. I'm not feeling very cynical right now. I will be soon. Don't worry.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I really did like the episode. There are a lot of things that need to be clarified and cleared up, but we'll get into everything, all the nitpicking as this episode goes on. And then finally, I think the only major character, I mean, not that Beric wasn't major, but not really. He's kind of on the periphery of things. Theon Greyjoy redeems himself, and he's been redeeming himself for how many seasons? Let the guy be redeemed. He was redeemed before.
He lost his cock, for God's sake.
Yeah. Well,
he did, Chris.
Yeah.
Due to a lot of very stupid decisions, of all of which he made on his own. So
true.
But Theon going out in a blaze of glory, a la Saeed from Lost. I always love to make that comparison when I talk about Blaze of Glories. And so those are the 4 major deaths. I think we sat here last week, not you, James, because you were nowhere to be found.
First of all, I tried 1,000,000 times, and then I called in 7 times. No one picked up.
Well, I'm not the one picking up phone calls over here.
Well, that's right.
I was trying to do this show without you. It's very difficult.
You're just the one giving me the business. That's it. That's all, buddy.
But now you're here. And okay, let's just talk straight up. Okay, 4 characters are dead. We're gonna get into the Night King.
The Night King's
obviously.
dead.
And the most major of all characters, yes, I guess.
He's pretty major, dude.
Yeah, kind of a little major. The Night King is dead.
His fun little head.
Off the bat, let's ask. And if you want to tweet us, I'm at the Marissa Rives. We got at James L. Mattern. At
Chris from BKLYN.
Chris from BKLYN. Tweet us. Was it underwhelming that the Night King was defeated, not necessarily by Arya, it's not really her fault, but that easily with so little explanation about the motivation behind the White Walkers this whole episode? James, let's start with you.
It makes sense that she's the one who did it. I'm watching at this wonderful place where they put me up, and my friend Ash and I are watching, and I'm like, it just makes sense. And it makes it, when you look back at it, you watch it all as a thing. It's, of course, it was Arya. Him getting whacked in the 3rd episode with 3 left does seem kind of like, am I supposed to still care about the crown and Cersei? Mm-hmm. That's what's wild about it.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares about the 7 kingdoms? There's 7 people alive and all 7 kingdoms. Who cares about running it? What are they going to run? Goats?
What do you think, Chris?
I'll be honest. I mean, I think he had to die before, like, he couldn't wait to the last episode, right? Like, it had to kind of end like this because the show has gotten more and more magical, right?
Yes.
As it's gone on. So I think you're down to 1 dragon. Now it's kind of retracted. And I think bringing the human element back into it is good. But I would have liked to see, like, I said it as soon as the show went off, we never found out why he wanted the 3-eyed raven.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, okay. The only explanation we got for why the Night King wants the 3-eyed raven is because he can wipe out all the history of Westeros, and part of doing that is wiping out Bran. But we don't really get an understanding of what that really even means, right? You get all this. I mean, think about it. For seasons, we've been talking about the Children of the Forest. We've been seeing glimpses of the Whites and the White Walkers. We've been seeing all these things, how they're created, all of this stuff, and now we're here. And yes, it was epic. I mean, I'm sorry if you don't think that episode was epic. I don't know what you were watching.
It was shot pretty beautifully too. Like even
gorgeous.
That scene where we were all watching it, and as the flames flickered out from the Dothraki, like, and it's just like, wait, we're waiting for this fight. You're not showing us the fight, and then you're just like, oh right, they're still winding you up for what's coming.
Well, I mean, that was insanity. And even one of the scenes I really liked, or just like one of the shots I really liked, was Grey Worm's face as he was kind of watching everything go on, seeing that the fire wasn't being lit, looking around, seeing Melisandre, and then kind of, I guess, orchestrating how we can get her out there to light this thing. Just the way they shot that, it was like quick bursts, and just, it was really well done. So overall, the everything we heard about it, 55 days, the craziest, biggest war scene that you've ever seen. I mean, I think it definitely holds up. But I think that there will be this will be a split audience on this one. I think people are going to be kind of upset that it's episode 3. The big bad was supposed to be the White Walkers. Winter is coming. Winter is here. That's been everything. And now that stupid bitch Cersei is our biggest threat. She's got nobody. James, come on, bro.
But it still might not be Cersei. It still might not be Cersei. So I guess that's the swerve, bro. That's what it's going to be, is that there could be a heel turn from Dany. It could be a heel turn from Dany any minute. I don't know how to pantomime this, and it's really weird seeing myself on a delay in a split screen with you guys while I'm trying to deliver a performance. It is fucking
look so
strange.
Good in that Young Buck shirt, all animated.
Yeah, look at this ton. Look at this. Look at this.
Wow.
Look at what I haven't taken an oral vitamin D3 in 2 weeks. I don't need it out here. There's actual sunshine and butterflies.
Look how happy James
I went on a hike today.
Wow.
Rattlesnakes, and I said, not today, rattlesnakes. Not today, Death.
Not today.
Not really.
Not really.
Today. I cried like a 3-year-old. But so here's the thing. There's still hints of Dany flipping. She still has to deal with our boy might be the king of the North.
King of Westeros.
Everything.
Yes.
Sorry, king of. To me, everything's the North. Everything. If he takes over, all seven kingdoms should just be the North. There should be Southern North. There should be Dorne North. Just have fun with it. But here's the thing, though. Too, is Arya the prince that was promised?
Well, I mean,
are we burying the lead? Is she who it is? Is she maybe she should run the whole thing?
Maybe she will. Maybe she will. I mean, look, Azor Ahai, a common theory. A lot of people feel like this was not Azor Ahai being paid off. I also think that the show doesn't have enough context for most of these things to even matter within the show. You know what I mean? Like, these are all concepts that we have pulled from the books. I do not, and my purest moment of the day, do not believe that this is the way the Night's King gets taken out in the books. I truly do not think Arya Stark is the one who takes him out. And it's not because I don't love Arya and I thought it was fucking badass as shit, but I just think there's a lot more there. And Bran, we get no explanation. I guess he was like watching what was going on.
What was that? I thought they were cahoots. I thought we were going to get the payoff of the cahoots that he was. And I was going to be furious. And I was willing to turn on my back on this show after years of watching for that payoff.
Well, we don't know.
I was ready to throw the hat in the ring.
We don't know where the ravens that he sent went or what they did.
What were they doing?
But this is the thing. I agree. Like, usually in the show, we're like, well, we don't really know. We don't really know. And I think that was a lot truer and I said this last week, but when the writers had the source material of the books, I think that they were able to do a lot of the clever things they did were in the book. So I think now, once you kill all the White Walkers, does anything matter now? Just like, what is Bran's purpose now? Was that it? Is Bran just going to sit there? There must be more, right? Am I the only one? Or is this going to end in a happy ending, which I've been saying for fucking 3 seasons of Say It Ain't Snow, that I will be pissed if I see it happen?
I mean, Bran's purpose is clearly to go to an emo concert. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, I'm done with the kid. Can I tell you this? Add him to the list with Danny.
No.
He's out.
No.
I really wish HBO could mash up their shows and they could bring back Paulie Walnuts from The Sopranos and he could go up to Bran and be, stop being a weirdo fuck, kid. It's not becoming of you. Make sure you get 12 hours of sleep. A man's no good without it. It's just how can I like that? It's like a goddamn flapping fish come to life. Enough. Just in a chair. Yuck.
Adebisi rolls out from Oz. He would be badass in this show. Adebisi. I think that you look like you want to say something.
I can't even think of what I was going to say for a second ago.
Well, I think that what you're saying is, all right, Bran. I actually liked Bran a lot more in this episode. He was being the three-eyed raven, but he did give some reassurances throughout the episode. He had his moments where he told Theon he was a good man. What was the other thing he did? He did something else too. I can't remember now. But Bran.
What about the other Sods who died? They're not good people. All those other Ironborns with their weirdo names. They weren't good people. Just Theon.
No, I mean the plot armor. All right, look. If we're gonna nitpick the episode, the plot armor is insane. I mean that's some plot armor. All of those people.
Oh, the fact that in that first wave it was all red shirts. that got it was a little much for me.
Yeah, even Ghost. Now my boy Ghost.
Where'd he go?
He's alive. I was on Reddit in the preview for next week's episode. Apparently he's there. They show Ghost and he's very small. Brian pointed that out. He's very small. He's charging towards the Whites and it's exciting, but it's like you haven't shown this Ghost. I mean, this direwolf in so long, like the impact of what he would do in that kind of war scenario is completely lost. And then you think maybe he's dead. Jorah comes back. Everyone kind of comes back. And I mean, they could have really done some crazy shit in this episode. They could have really wiped out half of these characters. They chose not to. And now we have to, we're supposed to believe that somehow these people are now going to die at the hands of Cersei because we're going to have more character deaths.
Well, so here's the thing: so their numbers.
Euron Greyjoy's taking out fucking Brienne after that. All of those people are going to die after that.
Well, I think that bigs up the impact. No, when they survive that only to die elsewhere, I think that kind of adds to it. No, and we also have to see. Brian brought it up. You have to see the Mountain versus the Hound.
Yes,
that's got to get paid off.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, now, I mean, James, now I think it's for sure confirmed that Clegane Bowl will happen. But like you said before, James, who cares? Kind of. It kind of felt like we were talking this season when we were leading in our recap episodes. We really thought that the big threat was the White Walkers, and it just, they have to do these last 3 episodes really well. I mean, something great must happen. There has to be more. If at the end it's just who's on the throne, and yes, we could say Dany versus Jon Snow is about to come. That's happening. Like those two are not going to see eye to eye. There's no way. What do you think?
Maybe that other theory that I've been talking about. I mean, the pack of wolves didn't show up this episode. Maybe they're the big bad. Maybe they just show up and start eating everybody. Cersei, you're done. Golden Company, we got you. Greyjoys, bye-bye. The North will go at you. That would be fun. It does seem so weird that we're back to battling for Westeros. It's just kind of crazy that it's reduced back to that. But if it's the couple exploding, so here it is, the fire and the ice, the song that we've been singing coming together, even though one of them is both, as we know. And they're in love clearly. And then, God, it doesn't end perfectly. It ends with one of them killing the other one. God damn. Or them, each other. Buddy, that's crazy. They survived this shit, the long night. And yet it still comes down to a squabble over a crown. Maybe that's poetic in a way.
Kind of a short night, if you ask me.
Also,
are you kidding me? It feels like it's 7 a.m. and I'm on the West Coast. I feel like I've been up. I feel like it's the last 45 minutes of Boogie Nights after watching that. I feel like I'm every character. I feel like I'm going to get donuts for my pregnant wife and the guns are going off. I feel like I'm trying to get hard in front of the gay bashers in the car. I feel like I'm Roller Girl getting disrespected by that jerk off while Burt Reynolds beats it up. Look, you're going to do Oz references. I'm going Boogie Nights, everybody. I'm in the San Fernando Valley. I'm doing it right, baby.
I mean, I think that's what Westeros is missing is the cocaine and heroin that were in Oz and Boogie Nights.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 5, baby. Someone's going to be a dealer.
Yeah, it's true.
That's going to be Grey Worm's career after when him and Missandei run away.
Yeah,
how are we going to live? Valo Malulus. All men must deal. Boy, I ad-libbed that. I mean, that was quick. Wasn't my best, but I should get bonus points for doing it.
James,
I'm also on a delay because I'm 3 hours away.
But you're not on a delay. It doesn't seem like it on our end. So you might feel like that, but it looks really good. And we're happy that you're here with us. And yeah, all right. I
just grabbed this bottle 8 minutes ago and you're finally saying it.
So a lot of people, I was on Reddit for like 3 minutes. The 3 people I read on Reddit in that 3 minutes, some people were upset about the way Arya kills the Night King, how she comes out of nowhere. Am I the only one that thought when she talked to Melisandre, talked about the blue eyes, meant that she was going to infiltrate the White Walkers? And I think that's what happened. I mean, it's still kind of reaching.
I think we could have seen a little bit of that. Like, add 5 more minutes. I don't know.
Well, then the impact wouldn't be there, and it would seem like the Night King's a loser. Because it does. I mean, really, the fact that he was defeated that way, not because it's Arya, because if out of any of the characters, it's realistic that she would be able to have the stealth and the skill set and everything. Like, that's what she does, right? We see her earlier. This episode was, this was Arya's episode. It does play, James, to Azor Ahai. It does play to the fact that Arya might be the prince that was promised. And it would make sense because in Game of Thrones, in the very first season, Arya just wants to be a knight. Arya just wants to be a warrior. And she's a woman and she can't. And she's she went to another country so that they would accept her. If Westeros won't let me, I'm gonna go over here. Bravos, progressive.
I also
bravos.
think now that we know that Liam Neeson, I guess, was a racist for a minute, and she could replace him in Taken because she has a certain set of skills too, dog. Taken 4, Arya's in town. Come on, man. We're not producing that right now. Let's get it done, baby.
They might be.
I think we keep saying that the Night King is dead, but people have come back to life in this show that have way less magic than that dude. Does anybody else?
Yes.
Like, I just think that there's a chance that that threat could still be looming after next week.
And that is interesting because, wait, we did see the fact that Dragon's Fire does not kill the Night King.
Didn't do a thing, dude.
But Dragon Glass? No, is that what she used, Dragon Glass in that
Wasn't
scene?
it the Valyrian
Or
steel
the Valyrian
dagger?
Steel. The Valyrian Steel dagger. Yeah. Valyrian Steel kills the Night King. Dragon's Fire does not. I don't know. Bran has nothing to do with this. Like, really,
there's got to be a reveal.
Bran's whole thing was to be a sitting duck. That's his whole journey as a cripple, to be a sitting duck. And to find out that Jon is a Targ, I mean, that's a big one. That's a big one. But Sam figured that shit out too.
But did they ever show like where the Night King came? Like I remember seeing the origin of him, but like where, like what was he from? Like I almost feel like he's
Children of the Forest.
That
People think he's a Stark.
That's what I was gonna say because it would make sense that they could all kind of fuck with him.
There needs to be more of a payoff of what he was. But are we going to look back now? I don't know. That's what's so crazy about this.
That's the whole point. Therein lies the issue of this direction. You know, people watch these TV shows and they see these epic things happen. I think with Game of Thrones particularly, we've expected them to have a kind of a well thought out process for why things happen. That it was always going to be well explained. It was always going to kind of tie in because that's what we got used to. And I'm sorry to sound like a broken record, but I do think that source material gone, they need to get the story wrapped up and they have to stretch the level of believability and the rapidness of how this all happens because that's where we're at. I mean, I'm just saying that I think in the books it's just not going to be like this. Like, why would they give us a history lesson now about the White Walkers? I just don't know what the point now. I'm getting more pessimistic by the moment, James.
Marissa, it's not. You're absolutely correct that this is not how it's going to happen in the books because it's never going to come out in the goddamn books because George Martin is too busy this weekend watching the NFL draft and caring about the Jets to give a goddamn about your emotions in the Ice King. That's right. He's going to probably change the name too if he ever does. He cares about them getting a defensive end that they weren't projected to, and that's what he gives a shit about. You're out here going, I wish the Night King, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, holy shit, can we protect our quarterback this year? And why aren't the Mets hitting better? That's what he's doing.
If he's
he doesn't care.
Jets-Mets fan.
He's a Jets-Mets fan. He's doomed.
Just gross.
Jets-Mets Islanders. That's how that always plays out.
Gross. Is he an Islanders fan?
I mean, probably.
Oh,
I don't think he likes hockey. I think he's scared of the ice now. That's why he can't finish the books. He realized he has to face these characters. Like, I don't know about that. I'm going to go Mookie Wilson. That's right, Mookie Wilson. Hey, let me go back for a second. Another thing that I guess feels weird about this. Now I'm going to talk about another nerd thing that you have admitted many times you're not into, and there's a spoiler if you guys are 2 years behind on Star Wars. But in the Last Jedi, I think one of the outrages people had is all this mystery for 2 years of who Snoke was, and then it's just a slug that gets killed in the middle of the movie, and you're like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, you thought, I was up on vacation after The Force Awakens up till 6 a.m. in my aunt and uncle's house, trying to find anything I could on who Snoke is and all these theories, and people are discussing it at bars, all this stuff. And it's like, no, he's just a large slug who gets cut open. That's it. And so that feels weird. So right now, all these theories of what's going to happen, what he really is, what does he want, and we don't have any answers. And there's a potential that we're not going to find out, that we're just on to the next battle. That feels very strange.
It is very strange. And you know, a lot of people criticize the show Lost. And now you're bringing up Star Wars, I'm going to bring up Lost. A lot of people criticize Lost. I think it's one of the greatest shows of all time. I thought the ending was perfect. I think that there's an unfair bias against that show, and everyone thinks they know, but they don't know shit. But people were pissed off in that show because of the smoke. Like, a lot of people thought that the smoke monster didn't really make enough sense. There wasn't enough motivation. When they gave us like full background and a whole story and a whole history episode, an episode where it was just them. It was a smoke monster as a man. Like, I mean, there was a ton of shit that went on. Spoiler alerts. You went there first. And
I said it out loud. I said it first, miss.
No, but I'm saying this is that Game of Thrones fans, now when this show is over, they'll look back on this and they'll be like, well, that was so awesome. Yet it's like there was no motivation ever defined for, I mean, we have been talking about the very first scene of this fucking show, the very first chapter of the book. Oh my God. Oh, you're in California. It's very upsetting to you now. I see. I know. The East Coast is weird when you've been in California for a little while.
Yes. We don't curse out here.
They just don't get it. But no,
you need to wash your mouth out with avocado toast.
I'm drinking Prosecco in a paper cup. So there you go.
Take the girl out of Jersey.
But I don't even remember what I was saying. But basically, yes, the point is, Chris from Brooklyn's
I
here,
think I know what
and
you're
he
saying.
has something to
No,
say.
it's like how at the end of Assassination Classroom, when you think they're going to resolve something with the professor and then they just don't. I get it.
yes.
That's a spoiler alert for Assassination Classroom.
There
I
you
don't
go.
know
We're
what the
just.
fuck that show is.
Oh, it's
Assassination
it's an anime, right?
knew you were
About
gonna
a
say
creature.
anime.
It's an anime about a creature who comes to destroy the entire planet unless this one class of unless he can teach this one class of delinquents how to kill him. It's a great show. I would check it out.
Sounds great.
It's on
I've
Hulu,
learned
the whole
about
thing.
2 anime shows. Is that the same one you mentioned earlier today?
No, One Punch Man.
No,
I
yes,
mentioned
this is
earlier.
the second
Oh,
anime
that's a
show.
fun one.
Yeah.
I've been hanging out with Chris for about 2 hours. 2 anime shows. First 2.
I didn't really watch that much anime, just those 2.
Just well, and I know about both of them now. Thank you for the education.
Chris, can I just
Now-
say, 2 weeks out here of not eating Brooklyn pizza, and I see that hat of yours with a dripping slice of pizza.
Mm.
It's just unbelievable. I want to reach through this screen, grab it, and eat it. And it's not even real pizza, but it looks like the pizza in my dreams.
This hat is from Baker's Pizza down the block. They're actually one of the more underrated pizza places in this neighborhood. Delicious.
Ooh.
It's on
I
the
get
first
in
day.
Wednesday at 6 a.m. and there's no on earth I can get pizza. Maybe one of the terminals at Kennedy might have an artichoke. I'll go to another terminal and get 2 slices and just eat it right in front of my Uber driver. Just be like, listen to this, buddy. I've been out west for 2 weeks. Kiss my chooch.
People do not
And-
quite understand the need.
And also go,
and
what do you
the
think of the Night
craving
King?
the
Was that a
pizza.
waste of time? And then my Uber driver will be like, I don't know. You going to tip me?
Oh, the Uber driver is going to be all in on that conversation. Now we're going to get to everything in the episode because I do want to work through some of it. Let's before we get into all. I mean, there was a lot of shit that happens in this episode. For better or for worse. I guess we're going to work through it. I usually change my mind as I go through the notes because I get upset, basically. But overall, Battle of Winterfell. Let's all just say if we think it was as good as. Was it the episode that was promised? Joms?
It was heavy, man. I don't know. It's very hard to process. There was so much action. It was kind of like watching an ant farm when they all go banana, when they all look like they're coked up ants. And the action was a lot. We were sitting here emotionally racked on a couch. We must have used the Lord's name in vain, me and my friend Ashley, 3,015 times. And when we watch it with Grant, when he gets here, we'll keep saying it and we know what happens. Like every 2 minutes was Jesus Christ. God damn. Jesus Christ. And I think God just threw a lightning bolt upstairs. I could hear it from me using vain. Whoopsie, sir. But it was so draining. Like I said, the only thing that's standing in my way. Well, no, here, let's do this. If Arya doesn't whack the Night King, I think I would go on record saying it was one of the worst episodes ever because it was so much depression and so much to overcome. I really thought they were going to leave us on a brink where everyone's defeated, but maybe one person gets away, or the Night King was to put his arms in the air and we'd have to wait again for next week to see what's happening. And I probably would have ripped my shirt like I was Hulk Hogan in the 80s. I would have been furious. But the payoff of Arya is wonderful. And the fact that we get a couple more episodes, or at least one more, with Davos, with Grey Worm, with Missandei, with Tyrion and Sansa, who now are hinting to a relationship and a possible turn on Dany, which is interesting. So that is fascinating stuff right there. And that made it from something I was probably going to be furious about and be depressed about and angry to Yas, Queen.
Well,
Okay?
Chris,
There you go.
I'll turn this to you. But everything he's saying, wouldn't that scenario, that outcome in this episode actually make things kind of fucking interesting?
Oh, yeah,
Wouldn't
if it was
that
left-
be
I thought
like
that's what they
the
were gonna
show
do.
should I would argue that maybe that's what they should have done. Maybe we feel better. We all feel great. Only Theon died, really. But and then who even gives a fuck about Theon? He's no Sandor Clegane. If he died, we'd be way more upset.
Yeah, I mean, that episode, I'll be honest, I'm sitting there going, like, how the fuck are they getting out of this? This is over. Like, I was just like, all these people are dead. This is how this show ends in fucking 3 weeks. They're just going to march down and kill everyone. Like, that's how I kind of felt. And I think they kind of, I don't know, in a weird way, I don't think they could have ended the show that way. They couldn't have ended it with, like, oh, these people are defeated, because there's no there's no one to come out of. There's no cavalry to come. There is nothing. Like, what are the 40 ships going to show up? That's it. There is no cavalry.
Yeah. Well, I know. But at the same time, they could have had. Doesn't matter. Cavalries don't really matter. Because at the end of the day, what this episode I think represented too is that, yeah, they had a huge cavalry. And we watched the Dothraki run in one of the best scenes, I think, of the whole series, run towards the whites and get extinguished. We watched just utter chaos. We watched them on the brink of nothing. And really, even if everyone was wiped out and only a small portion of our group remained, it still was only going to take one shot to the Night King to stop all of it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, ultimately, like, they could have just done
what they could have
but, like,
done-
I don't know how that would fit with the Cersei storyline. That's the thing.
If they would have just added an episode, given the exposition, some flashbacks, shown what Bran was doing in like some sort of flashback situation, right? And then you could end it with him. You could end it with like the tide starting to seem like it was going to turn, and then him raising his hands and the dead coming up, and then you get a second episode out of it. You could have done that, but I think that's the only way you can end on a bummer there, and not like people would not just be like, I'm fucking done.
Nah.
No bummer, baby. We had to get through it with a hug. We needed a hug. We're still damaged. Everyone.
No, we're just
everyone I know in Studio City is trying to get a hold of therapists. All right, everyone's crazy right now. People, this took a lot out of people, and if it would have ended on a bummer, this would be bad, Bubba. There'd be people hurting themselves tonight. This is like watching family members die. I know you're like, oh, it's just Theon. It's still the fact that Jorah is one of the biggest characters of the whole goddamn show. We lose Jorah, he's done.
How did I leave out Jorah? This whole time, no one in this
Yeah, you know why you forgot Jorah?
Because
this was going through your head. Book.
No.
That's why.
James, 6 people
Like
sitting
a
here.
goddamn chicken. Book.
I listed the dead.
I got you, Chris.
Nobody even corrected me. Jorah is dead. Significant. And you know what?
Jorah is a big timer.
A significant point to make in the whole thing is that that's the most emotion we've seen out of Dany this season. That's the most emotion we've seen out of Dany in a while. I've been bitching because she's been, your dragon is a white. It's one of them now. Huh? Your dragon's dead. Whatever. It's like there's no feeling. Yeah. And finally, her old bear dies. Jorah Mormont. And Lyanna Mormont. The Mormonts took a huge blow tonight.
She's got that friend zone. Who's going to help her move a couch now? She can't. Now she's got nobody to help her move couches, drive her to the airport. She's fucked.
And Grey Worm was going to defect, right? I mean, war's over. Bye, technically, what Grey Worm said last weekend. Last weekend. Last episode was that once this war was over, him and Miss Andy are going to run off and somehow have a family without being able to have babies.
I think he said once he delivers also the 7 kingdoms, correct?
Yeah.
I think that's part of it as well. So that's part A. Part A is done.
Well, he said once
there's another test to be done.
Wins her war. So her war is the war for the kingdom.
Yes.
For the kingdom.
Yeah.
It's I guess I blocked
right now
that
they passed
out.
the written test. Now it's the driving test.
Well, that's why I think I blocked that part out because in my mind, think about it. We've all been sitting here and I'm going to assume you too, Chris. I'm just going to add you into what we thought. But we're like, oh, no one's going to sit on the Iron Throne. Who's going to sit on the Iron Throne? I think in our prediction pool, I think I picked Bran to sit on the Iron Throne. Oh, no. I might have picked, I don't know who I picked. Maybe Alex can check that. I picked somebody.
Yeah, but who's going to put him in it?
Marissa, you picked Jon Snow.
That's a good point.
I picked Jon Snow. I picked Bran and the one with my boyfriend, I think. But
you went chalk, yo.
Who did James pick sitting on the throne?
James picked Tyrion.
Tyrion. Did anyone pick Arya?
I have
wild.
Dany, and Brian has Dany's kid.
Yo, Brian tried so hard with drafting the kid. Ugh.
Just
and then you took what? Lyanna Mormont, who's done.
I didn't take Lyanna Mormont.
Well, I mean, we could.
I think you
death
picked
pools.
Lyanna.
So we're gonna work through this whole episode in a second because there's a lot to note. But before we do that, let's get our death toll. Finally, some deaths going on. What do we got, Alex?
Well, so far the person who's done the best and lost nobody is James.
Wow.
Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba.
And who's James's team? Who's
James
James's
has
team?
Cersei, Tyrion, Jaime, the Hound, and Davos.
Wow.
Oh,
Bravo.
baby.
That
Bravo,
is a
my
good-
friend.
That's what I call the
Bravo.
1992 United States Olympic basketball dream team of Game of Thrones, baby. And all 5 of them are Jordan.
And who's next?
I lost Theon. I've still got Jon Snow, Grey Worm, Varys, and Bronn.
Okay. Where is Braun?
Yeah.
He's on his way to assassinate.
To whack them.
Which I think he's going to, but that's a whole other topic.
And you and Brian are tied here. You lost Beric and Melisandre. You still have Sansa, Euron, and Bran.
Okay.
And Brian lost Jorah and Lyanna. He still has Tormund, Gendry, and Podrick.
Oof,
Yep,
that's a rough.
Podrick.
Let's
Wow,
go.
that's something. Gendry got through that episode.
Gendry just
I got a
stood there
team full
looking
of
very
red
nervous
shirts.
and tan.
But what I'm saying is
I
that
think
would
Edgy
have
can
been
survive.
that would have been the guy. No, but I'm just saying is like I think that would have been the guy we would have all predicted for a death last week.
I think that's a good
Sure.
point. But now that he's alive, and now the Arya,
Horror movie rules. You come, you die. That's
Virgin.
yeah,
Like, that's
it is true. When you have like that big speech too about things, like we thought,
which means Arya clearly didn't come. You know what I mean? He wasn't hitting it right.
she lost her virginity. She
She's
definitely
not
did
capable
not
of.
come.
Yeah.
It's gonna take her like another 6 years to fully understand her orgasm. Don't worry.
They're gonna have to repurpose all
quick.
that dragon glass into dildos. Westeros.
Guys, real quick, The Ringer has posted a video on Facebook of Arya as Damian Lillard shooting the game-winning 3 over Paul George, who's got the Night King's head, and it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Maybe we can
with,
pull it
with
up.
Dame put his arm up like this with Arya's face. It's pure joy.
Well, maybe we
Bravo,
can pull it
Ringer.
up. But
Bravo.
let me give you a tin foil theory real quick. Just a quick tin foil theory from me. What if Arya Stark sits on the Iron Throne in the end, and Gendry Baratheon is
Dope.
her king? Like she is the queen, and so like
could work.
they're back in King's Landing, and Gendry.
Oh, but I'm crazy.
Oh, fuck you, Brian. No.
No, I think that's decent, and I think
said it was tin foil. But listen, who would have said Arya Stark
Nope, nobody.
last week was going to kill the Night King? We talked about Jaime Lannister maybe doing it. We talked about a lot of people who could have done it.
What's weird is
Mostly
I was
Jon
watching
Snow.
this episode and I never would have thought of that before this episode. But as we're watching this episode and she's doing stuff, I'm like, wait a second, why'd she go and learn all that magic shit? And she's not doing any fucking magic shit. And this is the fucking epic.
Yes.
I had that thought like early on in the episode when she was just doing the archer thing. And I was just like, wait, she had this whole arc where she's learning like magic and supposedly it's to kill humans, but like they're fighting the most magical being in the whole series, and she's not busting this shit out.
Well, James, would you agree that now thinking back on Arya's journey, she kind of is that she's like the Jon Jones of Westeros. She's like the most well-rounded competitor. She knows the side of the magic. She knows the side of the stealth. She knows the side of the fighting. She's smart. She can take other identities. I mean, she pretty much checks all the boxes. And in the end, I think she might be the best hope that we have. And she's not, you know what? And I think the biggest thing is that she's not bogged down by the emotions and the feelings. Not that she doesn't feel, Arya, she definitely does, but she has learned how to kind of put that aside. Where Jon Snow is probably the most emotional person in the series outside of Dany, who acts like very mostly on emotion a lot of the time.
Well, this is interesting, though. That
yeah. Sorry.
you bring up feelings. So she can kill the Night King because honestly, she's not clouded by anything but survival and the greater good in killing the Night King. Now, this is where it gets interesting. She's clearly the ultimate weapon right now, more so than even the Hound or possibly the zombie mountain. But the question is now, who's left? Who's left on the board that you have to get rid of? Cersei, who she emotionally... Is that who's left really on the list for her? I mean, the mountain too, but we don't think that she's going to deal with the mountain.
I think she's definitely going to kill Cersei. She'll be like the Queen Slayer or something by the end of this.
But she might make a bad move in that. Do you see what I'm saying? Where the emotion might cloud her actually being able to execute this person because she actually has feelings towards this. This has been her goal. And that with The only goal with the Night King is just that he's just another person that has to go.
No,
Could cloud her judgment.
I think I will still subscribe to the theory that Jaime's gonna die somehow, some way, and she will assume his face and kill Cersei. I think that has some kind of poetic, it's poetic. It's the Valonqar. It's so many things in one. It's Arya getting her revenge. It's a lot of different things. So I think that, I don't know what's going to happen in the next 3 episodes, and they're very, very long episodes. It's going to be a lot of episodes of after this. I mean, they better have a lot more ammunition here because
there's an assassin coming to Winterfell.
Bronn, yes.
Yeah. So you also have. I actually just realized this. We're not going to get to see zombies versus zombies, which is kind of annoying with the mountain zombie guard.
Yeah.
Versus that's kind of lame, and I think they're going to have to. There might be something with that, but so you got a lot of stuff that's going to happen in the next episode. I don't even think they're going to get on the road to King's Landing until the very end of that.
But what? All right, okay. Let's real quick talk about what could be next. So I'm trying to remember the promo right now.
I think it's going to be the take back of the Iron Islands. That's what we're going to see next week.
Really?
They got to bring you back. Yeah, they're going to show you that.
I don't know. I mean, I just don't see how. Is that how it's going to be? There's 2 episodes of kind of slow Battle of Winterfell and then slow boom.
I could see it.
James.
That's possible. You didn't watch the preview?
We did watch the preview. I can't remember what happened in it. What happened?
So that's a testament to this episode. No one can even process anything after because you're emotionally wrecked. You're just absolutely. If you had a medicine cabinet full of Xanax and goofballs, you're taking them right now because it just took everything out of you. It took everything. Yeah, we might need a break after Marissa. We probably. I don't know if I can do any more deaths next week. I might cry. I might have to go buy a puppy in the middle of the episode if someone dies next week. I might have to just pet a puppy the whole time because it's just. I just can't. I mean, it was an ant farm on coke. It was too much. Just all over the goddamn place. Bring in the Iron Bank next week. I could really deal with them next week. Bring in the Bank of Bravos. Let's just some boring. I want them talking about debt reduction. I want accountants. Let's just chill out for an episode. Maybe
just 10
a
minutes
scene.
of guys slowly turning pages in books.
Yes, couple betrayals or potential betrayals, and that's it.
Yeah,
I'll even be happy with somebody eat dragon fruit. Someone eat a fruit, just a piece of fruit for 10 minutes. I'll do it. I just need a break.
It's
My emotions are just charred.
You can't slow it down too much. You can't. Okay, so yeah, I remember the preview now. The preview was basically, okay, now we won this war. Now we got to finish this thing. We got to go take out Cersei. Okay. All right. So, I guess there is going to be a regrouping period. There'll be a slight mourning process. Sansa doesn't know about Theon yet. Danny's going to be upset about Jorah. Danny now and Jon.
Danny's going to find out that Sansa's got issues with her. That's going to come out.
Well,
that did come out.
You're going to start seeing. You're good. Yeah, but there's no way Missandei's not going to report back to Danny about this, and so she's going to be like chirp, 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 and then tensions are going to come, and it's ultimately then going to come in. Are these pieces going to stay together now? Maybe this is great that Night King's gone. It brought strange bedfellows together for the greater good, and now that greater good's done, do we stay together to try and make a greater society, or do we fall apart because it still comes down to horse shit of who's the leader? Leader of what? What the fuck is left? But that's what it's going to come back to is high school shit. I'm the most popular Heather. No, I'm the most popular fucking Heather. That's a reference to all my goth girls out there. A little movie called Heathers. Bop, bop, bop.
Oh, he loves goth girls. He loves them. He loves them.
You goddamn right, baby.
I know you do.
Bella Lugosi might be dead.
But you know what? You're totally right. It is totally right. What you're saying is very accurate because it is true that how do we care again? How before there was one common threat that everyone needed to. You needed everyone to be on point because they were all just going to die. That's not the case anymore. Cersei can't just come out of nowhere, all of her men, and just chop you down in the way that the Dothraki died to the whites. Like, that's not the case. So if these people want to leave and go home after that shit, or if they want to do anything else, if they want to be bought off, if they... Any of the other warriors who were left, and we don't quite have a full scope of the decimation of the army. Hopefully, it's realistic and
People are going to walk.
It better be like they've lost most of their people.
It's also going to be like, of the people that are left, I would venture to guess that in the beginning of the next episode, there will be hundreds of people being like, yeah, we're good. We're not going to go fight anymore. That was enough.
That's not my battle.
The North and the Vale, probably. Yeah. Why would they go fight Cersei now?
But that is an interesting thing to say, because that can be how Jon Snow ends up stepping up. Because we've been talking about how now that we know that he is the true heir to the throne, he knows he's the true heir to the throne, Dany knows he's the true heir to the throne. Now the big question is, what will it take for Jon Snow to oppose Dany to take that throne? And I think that that's what we're going to see next episode, is a lot of that psychology. That will be a big portion prior to getting to King's Landing, will be Jon trying to understand what is the right, noble, Ned Stark thing to do in this scenario. And if he thinks that the best way to get the North to be safe and to reclaim the world as we know it is by defying Dany or letting everyone, at the very least, letting everybody know that he is who he is, that he is Aegon Targaryen, he's going to do it. But I think Dany's going to have to push him to some brink in order for him to get there.
If he's not a Stark, he is a Stark.
He is a Stark.
Yeah.
He's a half Stark. Yeah.
He's half, baby.
Yeah. No, because I was going to say, if he's not a it was the mom, right?
Just a good half.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Lyanna Stark.
Okay. So all right. Yeah, no, because I was going to say, if he's not a Stark, the North wouldn't follow him anyway. But all right. Yeah, that's fine then.
All right. We don't
Who's
have a lot
left? I really wish there was a numbers count online. I want to see sabermetrics of what armies are left. I want to know what's going on.
Just a census
where the
of
children.
Over the last
Yes.
5 years.
Get me a census. Let me know what the population breakdown is.
But that's going to be the beginning of the next episode. I mean, and this
30 minutes of it. That and counting.
The mind-blowing thing to me is that the episode lengths are supposed to get longer and longer as the season goes on. And how? Like this,
Well, there's love stories. Now they're really shipping everybody.
Don't mess with me, James. I don't want to.
Everyone's getting shipped up.
Now I
There's
have to
all
go-
these emotions and some Romeo and Juliet shit going down. Man, we got the John and Dany thing. We got potentially Tyrion and Sansa. Yes, baby. That gives hope to the world. That might make me like Sansa again. There was a moment where I'm like, there you go, girl. There you go.
Get to
and I was
that.
MFing her. I was MFing that poster of the new X-Men. I go, look at you.
Ugh.
You can't act out of a bag. And I'm supposed to believe you're Jean Grey. How dare you? And guess what? I'm back on board, baby. Team Sansa. Pop, pop.
Yeah.
You got Gendry and Arya, a.k.a. Arya, the baddest bitch around. Like, is she the best? And Gendry hanging in there. I still want to see what happens to my boy Grey Worm with his 2 lines in Valerian every episode. That's it. Vala Mogulis. Great, buddy. I love it.
This
This is great.
I'm not the biggest Grey Worm person, but honestly, this episode, I was very like Team Grey Worm. I don't know, the way they shot Grey Worm, the way he handled himself in battle, it made me really. I was really pulling for him, and I think the Tyrion Sansa thing. Let's get into that real quick. Really, really significant moment because, man, why not? Like I don't really like Sansa. I never have. I really liked her in this episode just because I felt like she was cutting through the bullshit. She knew, she called it as it was. We're down here because there's nothing better we can do for our team than to sit down here and try to live. Us living is essentially the only importance we have, is to be here tomorrow. And it's not necessarily fully true because we know that Tyrion has the capabilities of leading, the Battle of the Blackwater. We know that Sansa's smart enough to bring in the Vale to save everybody during the Battle of the Bastards. We know that, but that's strategy. Strategy is not going to really help you in an all-out, drag-out fucking shit show.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. All right.
Can I just say this to you?
Yes.
If they end up kissing and if they end up like they're going to be a couple again, like a legit couple, Tyrion and Sansa, I hope everyone in there, Chris, if you come watch with us, if anyone else from our network is there, producers, Lewis, Ralph, I don't care. If they start making out in any of the next 3 episodes, if you don't think I'm going straight to Spotify and playing Celine Dion, the theme from Titanic, and blasting it in the middle of the episode, you're out of your mind. I'm going to do it. And I'll make you pause it, and I'll just prance around fighting tears. Near, far, wherever you are, those two get together, I'll feel good inside.
Yeah,
That's the end of that rant. Here you go, baby.
it's weirdly cliche though.
Tyrion should have
does get
probably
back to
died,
him, no?
right? Tonight. It is cliche.
Like,
No, it's
'cause
great.
She didn't like him, right? And
Yeah,
then she
'cause
left, and some nonsense happened to her with some assholes. And now she's like, yeah.
Some nonsense.
So now I can fuck.
That's right,
him again.
Bubbas.
Now I'm
Just a
ready
little
to fuck
bit of
him again,
nonsense.
Yeah.
This is where Tyrion being too attractive really hurts the show. This is where Tyrion looking like he looks, Peter Dinklage, a good-looking little person.
They're called midgets.
That's not what they're
Jesus Christ. They're called dwarfs.
called. Little people. That's what they like to be called.
I think you can call him a dwarf in the sense of a fantasy show. It's a fantasy
Yes.
show.
I
He's
know.
a dwarf.
My point being, he's supposed to be hideous.
He's an imp.
He's an imp. Exactly. That's what he is, the imp, and that's what everyone knows about.
Marissa,
the
he's
imp.
he's a
But
fellow New
he's
Jerseyan, and you
he's
should
too
defend
attractive.
him.
I love Peter Dinklage. Please, he's too attractive, and you know who else is too attractive? No, I mean not that he's attractive, but who looks too good? Theon. Theon looks way too healthy. That guy had like all of his teeth broken out of his face. He had his dick cut off. He was, I mean, tortured, flayed. Why? You know what? Now I'm actually upset. It's pretty crazy that he's not completely cut up and sliced up because fucking
Isn't his back though?
Ramsay Bolton.
Isn't his back and body all? Like, he was covered the entire time we.
Ramsay
Oh,
flayed
yeah.
his finger.
Oh, he flayed his finger in the.
So how is he shooting bows so good?
Yeah, he should be battered. So okay, Theon's too.
Maybe he used some aloe vera.
You
Maybe
know,
some Westeros aloe vera is good and it just heals up. Maybe it's like Neosporin times a million.
I will say that another person that I left off my death list that no one is fact checking me in this room. I didn't really talk about Melisandre
Yeah.
going.
God bless her.
If you knew Chris, why didn't you say anything?
It's hard to get a word in edgewise here sometimes. It's a lot of talking
Sorry,
going on.
Chris.
We're all going. I don't want to interrupt you guys' flow. It's your show.
Yeah,
I did catch that,
That's fine.
but she's dead. What else is she gonna do? She's got fire. She killed the ice guy. What the fuck? She's got nothing left.
No, there's nothing left.
Yeah.
I mean, but she was a lot more. I don't know. She's been probably one of, if not the most significant character, bringing Jon Snow back to life. Then
Yeah.
lighting up. Well, I guess lighting up
Every
the
major
Dothrakis.
battle.
Yeah,
Every major battle.
but lighting up the Dothrakis. What do they call them? Iraqs. Didn't really do much because they all got extinguished. But she did.
She
light
lit up the barrier,
The
yeah.
barrier. She did a lot. What's your final thoughts on Melisandre, James?
Well, I'm going to miss her and her copious amounts of nude scenes. And she's the type of girl I would like to have a cup of coffee with. I think she's a delight. If I was in Westeros, I'd probably be worshiping the Lord of Light. I'll miss her. She did her part. She annoyed a lot of people, but she came through in the end. She knew she was going to die in Westeros. Good on you. Good on you. I think she lived. She knew her purpose that the Lord of Light gave her was to get people through this battle. All right. And then that's why she took off the glamour and she died. Very noble, very respectful. She could have kept it on. She could have gone down, said, "What up, Cersei?" She didn't give a shit. She went out, blaze of glory. It's great. Love it. Great story arc for her. Redeems herself from all the scandalous horse shit she has done, which is a lot of horse shit. A lot of horse shit.
And more importantly, even the fact that she's the one who kind of puts the bug in Arya's ear that
Yeah.
she could do something really great to affect this war. And that's ultimately what ends it all. So, Melisandre might be one of the most important characters of the entire series because she really had a huge impact. I mean, there's no explanation of where she was, how she got back, nothing about that. But, that's the thing. The biggest drop off that Game of Thrones has had over the last 2 seasons is just that they don't really care so much to explain all the minutia. And that is largely because of time restrictions, budget restrictions, whatever it may be.
But that was part of why people loved the show.
Exactly.
Like it's a big you want to get to the dragon part, but like you're kind of watching an interpersonal drama that happens to that the problems are resolved with violence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's more it was more that in the beginning than anything else.
I totally agree. I'm like trying to go through my notes because I feel like some things happen that we haven't touched on at all because we've been going through nothing. I mean, the very beginning, they very much showed every single character. They showed ghosts. They showed everybody. So it does still, I mean, now looking at the death toll list, it is a lot more significant than kind of given credit. But they also were a lot of B characters. If you're going to talk about the lead characters, they're all B characters, actually. I don't think there's not one main character here. Jorah, I would argue, is not a main character, even in Theon either, because they both spent extended periods off the show, not in the main story. So very important.
But so did Bran.
But Bran
Bran missed the whole season. A whole season.
That's because they were trying to hold off because they thought George R. R. Martin would write a goddamn book, but he can't do that, so they had no choice but to move forward. This is what I think. The writers never quite knew what the Bran storyline fully was. I feel like George R. R. Martin might have given the broad strokes of the story, but never fully gave them like what the lore is. And I would see him being a sneaky fuck from Bayonne, New Jersey, and not really disclosing that so he could have his story in the end.
Or he just doesn't know, and he's just fucking playing a shell game with everyone.
I would go with Chris. I don't think the fact that he's from Bayonne and not Hackensack. If he's from Hackensack, he would have been a little more straightforward. But that Bayonne shit, yeah.
You guys think Rhaegal died? John's dragon?
Yeah, what dragons left?
So I
got confused.
I was reading on Reddit, and they seem to think that in the preview, and again, we watched the preview very quickly, that Rhaegal is there. And so that both dragons survived, is what Reddit was saying. I cannot confirm or deny this. I think if a dragon was dead, it would have been a little bit more clear in this episode. I didn't even think it was that clear when the ice dragon died.
I mean, all the White Walkers died.
But yes. Oh no, that was clear because it was coming towards Jon Snow, and then he grappled. Yes, I apologize. That is true. But yeah, I think that they're both alive. So I mean, let me look through these notes. Anything else of notes? I took all these notes just to.
Lyanna Mormont. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Lyanna Mormont was
R.I.P. baby.
R.I.P. You know, she was a great character. She had great lines.
That was a great scene.
Great scene. Squeezed, gruesome. You know what I mean? Like I felt her being squeezed and like the death that was happening. But then taking out one, this little tiny little thing that could, perfect.
And then they also they twisted the knife when they purposely showed her wake up as a White Walker too. I thought it was
her and Ed. Her and Ed. And I know that a lot of people have the pools. There's a lot of pools going around. You had to like vote if they died or if they would become a White Walker.
So everybody became a White Walker.
Yeah, but Jorah didn't become a White Walker. We didn't see him or a white.
No,
he missed the cut.
He died after the Rising.
We gotta get the verbiage right. Yeah. A white is ones that are normal people who get killed and are raised back up. White Walkers are specifically turned by the Night King.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was that what he was going to do to Bran?
You think he was going to turn
risen Bran?
That's they really. It feels like they almost missed. They missed something there. You have this moment with Bran looking into the eyes of the Night King, and I think some of us did think that what you were saying earlier, Chris, was that there was a connection, right? That everyone's a big theory that Bran's the Night King was going to be revealed, that the whole time that he's sitting there with his eyes, away, was that he's controlling the Night King.
Yeah.
And I guess technically, maybe that's true. Maybe that's still true. Maybe Bran. I mean, but it doesn't make any sense. That's the thing. Like, there is the thing I mourn the most is that I think that now is just it. And I would like to think otherwise, but I also don't have that much faith in like the writing, and the planning of this show anymore.
What if there's a nice neat bow on the 6th episode, and Johnny and Danny get rid of Cersei, and they're hugging, and we got Sansa's knocked up with Tyrion's baby, and Missandei and Grey Worm are in the honeymoon suite, and everything's great. We're happy, and everyone. And then there's a pan to Bran, and his eyes turn blue, and he was the Night King the whole time, and you just hear a ha ha, like the ending of the Thriller video where Michael, you think they got rid of all of it, and then you see that Michael's really a bad guy. Boy, that would be satisfying. End of show. Everyone would be furious, like the end of Sopranos when he's about to eat onion rings and it goes black. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I feel like it'll end at an inn where they're all eating meat pies, like I ordered for the table.
I mean, that's seriously. I almost feel like that. I feel like if George had anything to say in it, he would leave everyone pissed off, and then to guarantee them to read the books to correct it. I mean, what if they stick the landing so poorly and it ends up being like they have to go back like Curb Your Enthusiasm and give you the Seinfeld ending that you wanted.
You know what? Honestly, the Seinfeld finale, overblown how bad it is. I don't think it was that bad. I really don't. I don't know how do you how do you end a show that's about nothing? That is
also for years they were talking about
Seinfeld is genius.
It was the first show that everybody on the show was kind of a bad person, and they end up in prison.
That's the thing. It was just like there is no ending. There is no families. Yeah. Elaine's not going to go off and marry Putty and have babies, and then they're not going to all go to the wedding and be like, "It's no." I think you're right though, James. I don't know if you're right or if I'm just piggybacking off of something that you said. But there is no way that they can end this satisfaction. Like, there's no way this is going to end with me being happy. Like, I only think that because
you're mad 20 minutes after saying it was the best episode ever.
It was a very good episode, but I also think that they threw away the Night King. They threw away
Chris.
They threw away the motivation of the White Walkers. We are now left with Cersei, a potential Dany Jon showdown. I just don't know if they have a clear idea of how to do this without just trying to make people happy in the end, without protecting characters. I don't think they have the cojones to really take out like a Tyrion. Like, do they have I thought there was a moment in this episode where I thought Tyrion was Dunsky. I thought Tyrion was about to do a blaze of glory death himself when he was there with Sansa, had this great moment. He kind of sees Gilly and the whole group, Varys. And I'm like, oh my God. Is this the end of Tyrion? Now that's how you do a third episode out of 6 in a final season, is to really, there was not a real gut punch. Like Jorah dying was sad, Theon dying was sad, but to really feel like, sick that something happened. I did not feel that, and I think that we all assumed going to this that we would.
Yeah, we'll
get a couple. And they might hurt even more. Pardon me, Chris. Because they got through that, and now it's probably going to be petty. There could be betrayal. That's going to make it hurt even more.
Yes.
And over the once again, the stupid throne. The stupid throne we're going to lose. We got through it with most of our favorite pieces on the chess table. And now we're going to lose them over that stupidity, over the North, over 7 kingdoms. That's what it comes down to. And it's going to hurt so goddamn bad. And that's what the show's about, is leaving you wanting more, but absolutely drained and empty, and realizing that life promises you nothing. Boy, I feel like ready? Come on, let me just drop this son of a bitch right here. Pop, baby!
Well, I don't know. I think that there was a lot of moments, if you look through the episode, that, there was moments where Jon Snow surely should have died. A lot of people surely should have died throughout the episode. I think that there was a lot of, again, plot armor within this, and that's fine. But I still think that there's going to be it's a bloodbath. Like I can't imagine this show not being with most of I think half of our main characters need to die before the end of the series for it to feel as dangerous as it's been being sold to us for so long. And if they can all be on the other side of it and just have a new king or queen and laugh about it, are we really getting the product that was promised?
No, I think a good chunk of the people who survived this will be dead by the end of it. Like, I think the only people that are safe are maybe the Starks, really. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think Daenerys is going to die.
Yeah, me too.
In the last episode. Or probably, maybe even before.
Is the Azor Ahai thing still in play? Is there still a chance that the Nilla kind of theory comes to life where Jon Snow stabs her through the chest? Princess was promised. No.
At this point, it seems highly unlikely to take a line from Gorilla Monsoon. So I don't know. And if they don't pay it off, that is a letdown. Yeah. Why would you show that and discover it and present it to the audience and that was just for fun for a few episodes? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, but again, they didn't really present it that well, and the White Walkers were characters from episode 1, and if their motivation was just wiping out the human race, like basically just wanting to kill everybody with no real true motivation, I mean, that's what they did. That's what they did tonight. Like, I loved the episode, but let's not pretend. They completely undercut all the reasoning of why they would want to do this, what the real purpose is. Bran, again, what happens when you kind of go in that kind of direction is that you minimize an entire character's journey. Like, you don't want to make things too simple in the end because then the theory doesn't work well. We have to wrap. Says, I didn't even know that we had that ability on the screen. I'm freaked out.
How great is that?
Can you see that too?
I didn't, but I have instincts. And an early call time.
All right.
So I knew that it was time to wrap.
Yeah. So a lot happened in this episode. I'm kind of like processing still. I really do. I think this whole episode I've been kind of up and down because there was a lot there. But definitely better than the first 2 episodes of the season. A lot went on. Thank you so much, Chris from Brooklyn,
no problem,
joining us. You can catch High Society Radio every Thursday live on Gas Digital Network at 8 p.m.
And 8 p.m. Tuesdays on iTunes.
Tuesdays on iTunes. A fucking great show. Me and James went on a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
Still available for free. If you're listening to this show, you don't listen to that show, go download that episode.
We had so much fun. We talked a lot about Game of Thrones too. So Game of Thrones fans would very much dig it.
The episode is called Game of Thrones Gangbang if you want to check it out.
Yes.
Oh, that makes sense.
And who doesn't want that?
I mean, come on. All the things you like in one. And then James L. Mattern. Oh, James, I swear my heart was broken without you last week. Thank you.
You did wonderful. You guys all came together.
I missed
it was
you,
great.
But my heart is with you always, James. You are my partner.
Well.
I can't wait to see you next week, buddy. And keep this thing going. Thanks to our great producers, Alex and Brian. My boyfriend Anthony's been here with us. And if you find us on iTunes, like us, 5 stars, the whole thing, review, and catch us every Sunday after Game of Thrones, about 15-20 minutes later on GasDigitalNetwork.com. Full free promo code SNOW, and you can download, you can get a free trial for 14 days, and we will see you next week.